Okay, so now I'm going to look at quite a much more interesting feature, which is, let's say that my Safari browser, so this is Safari, that's a Chrome, I don't have any contacts, and I want to send a message to somebody else, right? So I want to send a message to a particular user. So what's interesting is that what now works is I can now just send the user a token, right? Which is basically a number. So you could tell the user, hey, just type this in, MA0C, Z2, it's a simple little identifier. You can look up on this directory. So at the moment, it doesn't have any identifiers, which is kind of by design. This is more like to share the public keys. Also to do with the fact that the server side has no idea, because the server side has no access to clear text data, right? So, but I guess I know who this was. So this is me. Let's see, in Chrome, imported, right? And then I'm going to bring to my contacts, right? So what's cool about it is you could see that now I got that contact, and you could see the hash here, let's say ends on 195, which is fundamentally the same key that I have here, right? So this is the key that I have, is my fingerprint, right? So what this means is the same thing. I can now take this contact that I imported, I can go to my encryption, I can say, hey, I'm going to send a message to him from this key, and I'm going to go hello via imported key, and I go encrypted, and then again I sign it, and then if I come here, I can encrypt it, I can decrypt it, sorry, and here's my message, right? And just to show that this only works here, right? If I create a new key, let's say here this is another key in iMac, right? And now I have two keys, right? If I go and try to decrypt that same message with this, it doesn't work, right? Because that's not the right key to decrypt that, right? And by the way, this is really cool. This is every single message that happens here. You get the events of the UI, and you also get the API calls to the backend, right? So you could see that all the backend calls that are happening. So it's quite a cool little debug little tool. Right, so you can see, so we got publish. So if I want to publish a new key, so let's say I want to publish, in fact, this key here is not in the registry. The key for this user here, this particular user, so you can see is 0304. That's not in the current registry. So if we try to find it, it's not there, right? You can see, so this user can now come in, he can publish on a registry. So once it's there, right, now it's going to be available to be discovered via these codes, and these codes can either be discovered here, right, or there we go, or you can just browse it in there. And it's also quite cool because we actually have a log of all the actions and transactions, which is quite cool, right? So you can see what gets published, what was unpublished, revoked, etc. So you get all the keys codes here. So it's almost like a hash chain, right? And make sure that all the chains are actually consistent. So pretty cool, right? So this allows already to solve a lot of interesting problem, which is how do you start having a PKI conversation with somebody, right, when you don't have their public key. So this allows us to go to the system, enter the public key, and then you can grab the key of that person and start sending messages to them, right?